Shri Ganadipataye Namaha. Shripadarajam Sharanam Prapate. Shreerastu Shubhamastu Avignamastu. Chapter 8. Description of the Datta Incarnation. How does self-realization take place? Real Brahmins are those who perform penances to obtain divine knowledge. Next day, Tirumala Das, after finishing his regular prayers, said, Shankar Bhatt, when self-realization takes place, the 15 qualities merge with their original elements. Those particular gods merge in the consciousness which is the original energy. Self-realization, karmas, etc. get merged with the divine form. The one who is striving for such divine knowledge is a real Brahmin. Life, belief, sky, air, fire, water, earth, organs, mind, food, strength, thoughts, mantras, karmas, universes, different principles in the universes are called 16 principles. Sripad Prabhu is an incarnation of the ultimate divine complete with all 16 principles. Food is itself mind. Purity of mind is achieved by eating good food. The Creator first created the world of prana, breath. Prana means the life force which is present in the entire world. That life force is also called a Paramatma, Hiranyagarbha. The material or solid elemental energy situated in the covering of the prana is called body energy. If the flow of consciousness full of prana is controlled properly, material sorrows of human beings are eliminated. The pranic body of the human being becomes diseased first before the external material body. The external body gets the disease later. After the creation of nature was decided, the five elements were expressed. To comprehend these five elements, five sense organs were designed. To combine with these and for proper working, five organs of action were designed. The mind controls these 10 organs, and the mind is formed of the food. Therefore, human being should be very careful of his diet, because from the fractions of the diet only, emotions in the mind are created. Our thoughts develop as per the qualities of the diet. Mantra means to discipline the flow of thoughts and control them. Karmas means to scientifically perform the sacrifice and to chant the mantras associated with those sacrifices as per the text. Karmas alone are reasons for the creation of the world. The world cannot exist without a name. There is a God for each organ in us. These organs work under the influence of these gods. When the meditating yogi obtains self realization, at that time the 16 principles merge with the original principle. The conscious energy from the material body of the yogi dissolves in the cosmic conscious energy. Human beings who have sense organs and organs of action cannot survive without doing karmas. You cannot be liberated unless you destroy your sense of ego. It is because of the attitude of ego in human beings that karmas are done. The sense of ego is the impure consciousness formed due to covering of the mind and the intellect by ignorance. The yogi who is self realized does not have any residual results of karmas of many lifetimes left. Self realization does not occur till the attitude of ego is completely annihilated. When the yogi realizes the self, then his karmas and the focus of its results, the ego along with the Maya dissolve in the eternal Paramatma, and he remains devoid of personality. Paramatma is with personality and in the form of power. Karmas and the results of karmas are destroyed, and the yogi attains the position of spiritual perfection, Siddha. Even though the yogi suffers the results of his karmas through his external body, since he does not have the attachment towards the body, he is always situated in the state of liberation. Paramatma displays his divine actions through yogis. Paramatma has the power to reduce all the powers of yogis who become proud of their yogic powers and remove their pride. Sri Bapanarya had transferred energy from the solar system to Sri Mallikarjuna at the sacred place of Sri Shaila, to Mahabaleshwar at the sacred place of Gokarna, and at some other places. He had also transferred energy in the idol of Swayambhudatta and also in the Archan idol. This energy, which is related to fire, needs to be pacified. If this is not done, The worshippers, as well as the sponsors of the worship, both are liable for punishment due to the extreme brilliance of the worshipped idol, and they get undesirable results. Only yogis who have inner realization can know about the energy transfer, Shaktipat, into the idol of Swayambhudatta. The transfer of energy, Shaktipat, at the sacred location of Sri Shaila Mallikarjuna in presence of thousands of people by the initiative of Sri Bapanarya took place. Brilliance from the solar system emerged in front of everybody and immersed in the linga of Mallikarjun. The incarnation of Sripada Srivallabha and this Shaktipat are two very secret divine mysteries. These are fit to be told and known only by the greatest yogis. The Sri Shaila was pacified after this transfer of energy, Shaktipat, took place. In this, thousands of people were fed. Due to this, hunger was pacified. The cruel powers were reduced and immersed in the principles of tranquility. Hence, all karmas became peaceful and auspicious. In the transfer of energy, Shaktipat, at the Swayambhu idol of Pitikapur, since there was no real witness and proof, the pacification or distribution of food did not happen. When Sri Bapanarya suggested distributing food, the Brahmins of Pitapur, by various debates, rejected the suggestion. Sripada, complete in 16 principles. Time was flowing at its own pace. Sripada was now 2 years of age. In this period of 2 years, Sripada had shown by his many Bal-Leelas that he is complete with the 16 principles and that he is a great incarnation of this era. Sripada Prabhu left Pitapur at the age of 16. After that, he stayed for 14 years in Kuruvapur and other sacred places. But this physical appearance was that of a 16-year-old boy only. 16 incarnations of Sri Dattatreya. The number 16 is special. Sri Dattatreya had taken 16 incarnations in the previous eras. They are Yogiraj, Atrivarad, Digambara Avadut, Kalagni Shaman, Yogi Jan Vallabh, Leela Vishwambhar, Siddharaj, Dhyana Sagar, Vishwambar Avadut, Maya Mukta Avadut, Adi Guru, संस्कारहीन शिवस्वरूप देवदेव दिगंबर दत्तावधूत श्याम कमल लोचन. Sri Dattaprabhu is the donor of luxuries and liberties. It is sufficient to worship his padukas in order to worship him. All the four Vedas, in the form of dogs, who convert all impurities to purities, are at his lotus feet near his padukas. Even gods and the Saptarshis cannot fathom the purity of Sri Dattatreya. At the end of the previous era, when the Vaman incarnation had taken place, then his contemporary sage, the great Vamadev, was also born. During the time of his birth, only the head came out of the mother's womb. Then, after the gods and the sages prayed to him, Sri Vamadev took birth again. From birth itself, he was a pure knower of divinity. Similar events occurred during the birth of Shripad. He was only in the form of flame. In this way, because he was born twice, from birth itself he was twice born Dvija. Since he was complete, perfect, whole, ever situated in bliss, he had no guru, spiritual master, in this incarnation. In reality, he was not the combined form of Trinity, but a special principle beyond the Trinity. Therefore, to indicate the fourth dimension beyond the Trinity, he took incarnation on the fourth date, Chaturthi, by coming out of mother's womb and again going back and pleased with the prayers of Mahayogis, Siddha Purushas, spiritual perfect, and gods, being born again, he was full with divine knowledge since birth. The Lord of Chitra Nakshatra is Angarak, Mars. If this planet is placed badly in the horoscope, it is inauspicious for all living beings. Prabhu took birth in the Chitra Nakshatra to remove all that is inauspicious and to give all that is auspicious. Worship of Sri Pada Prabhu when the Chitra Nakshatra is prevalent has special results. Sri Pada Prabhu is Dharma Shastra himself. He took birth in zodiac sign of Libra to indicate that he is Ayyappa Swami, son of Hari and Hara. There is no religion that he does not know. If a person caught in two minds prays to him, he gets the realization of the right path. Sun is the lord of all planets. Since he was born in the Leo ascendant, it indicates that he is the lord of all universes and that he is the emperor born to hold royal courts. The Trinity was created from Sri Datta Prabhu, and from the Trinity 30 million gods, and from them 330 million deities were created. Therefore, by just remembering the name of Sri Datta, you get the fruit of remembering all gods and deities. The Brahma face of Sri Datta Prabhu should be worshipped by Rishi Pujan. The face of Vishnu should be worshipped by the Sri Satyanarayana Vrata and by the Vishnu Sahasranam. His Rudra face should be showered by the Rudrabhisheka mantras. The goddess Saraswati resides on the tongue of the Brahma face of the Lord Sri Datta Prabhu. The goddess Lakshmi resides on the bosom of the Vishnu face. On the left side of the Rudra face resides Gauri. All the energies of the female deities in nature are established in the left side, and all the energies of the male gods are established in the right side of Sripada. Sri Venkateshwara Swami, who has descended on the Saptagiri in Tirupati, is Datta Prabhu himself. When is the seed, Bija, of Amrit immortality, and Kat is the seed, Bija, of prosperity. Therefore, Sri Venkateshwara is the giver of Amrit immortality and prosperity. In fact, Sri Venkateshwara and Sripada Srivallabha are not different and one only. Then I said, Tirumal Das, the learned ones used to say that in earlier times the Varnashram Dharma used to be religiously followed. But I feel that Sripada Prabhu's opinion was opposed to this, so I request you to clarify my doubts. The science of a Brahmin. On this, Tirumal Das said, if a Brahmin spends his life to obtain the knowledge of the divine, only then he can be called a Sad Brahmin, a good Brahmin. If he leaves his appointed duties, karmas, and becomes ill behaved, he becomes a cruel Brahmin. When his bad karmas increase and he turns to cow killing and eating cow meat, his Brahmanism is reduced and his brilliance of being Brahmin is completely eliminated. The life particles in his body change and he is turned into a Chandal. Then he cannot be a Brahmin. By penances, the life particles in a Kshatriya change and he becomes a Brahmin. In this way, Vishwamitra, born as a Kshatriya, became a Brahmin. The planet Saturn dominates three signs of zodiac for a period of 7.5 years. During that time, the life particles of each human being undergo transformation. Old particles get destroyed and new particles created. The human being does not even realize this. The signs of a Kshatriya. If a Kshatriya leaves his own duties of a warrior and follows the peaceful duties like agriculture, serving cows, trading, the fighting qualities in him do not last. Several changes take place in his mind, intellect, and body, and he changes to a Vaishya. If a Brahmin follows the path of a warrior, he becomes like Parashuram. In the earlier days, hadn't Dronacharya and Kripacharya followed the duties of warriors, even though they had been born as Brahmins? Though a Vaishya, hadn't Kusumashreshti followed the warrior path? Though a Shudra by birth, have I not received divine knowledge by the grace of Sripada Prabhu? By continuous penances, efforts, a Shudra can also become a Brahmin, Kshatriya, or a Vaishya. Our Varna depends on the results of our good deeds and not on whether we are born in a particular caste and are following the rules, duties, and skills of that Varna. I can get the next birth as a Brahmin, although I am born as a Shudra. Similarly, a person who is Brahmin by birth may get next birth of a Shudra. The organization of Varnas was made for sociological reasons. Sripada gave an alternate explanation. The Brahmins being the face of Paramatma, Kshatriyas as the arms of the Paramatma, Vaishyas as the thighs of the Paramatma, and Shudras as the feet of Paramatma. You accepted my hospitality. The food in my house is the food of the house of a Brahmin only. Mystery of the karmas. The atmosphere in this premises is filled with sacred and auspicious vibrations because of the continuous remembrance of the name of and meditation of Sripada. Even though Narasavadani was born as a Brahmin, the atmosphere in his house had become impure due to the mental, spiritual, and physical vibrations being polluted. Because of this, Sripada Prabhu did not accept his hospitality. This is the mystery behind this. The Varna is required in order to take birth as per the theory of karmas, as per the good and bad results of the karmas, isn't it? John was a resident of Germany. Even then, he had immense curiosity for divine knowledge. In the ultimate phases of good results, he saw Sripada Srivallabha at Kurvapur and got unending grace from Sripada Srivallabha. Even though Narasavadhani was in Pitapur itself, he took so many years to realize that Sripada is an incarnation of Sri Dattatreya. Even after realizing this, it is impossible to obtain Sri Datta's grace without a series of meditations. On this, I said, Swami, according to you, every living particle gets transformed. In that case, does every Varna have a soul? Parvati Devi is called daughter of the Himalayas. Why is this said? On this, Tirumala said, every Varna has a soul. It is in the form of power. That power has emerged from Sri Datta Prabhu, who is Divyatma. Since it is associated constantly with the Paramatma, it is the Mahashakti. The meaning of the word caste is not as you take it. It is akin to a living human being, which is made up of conscious living particles. Similarly, in the personality of a group, all the qualities of each individual of the group are combined. Similarly, each village, city, each country has a soul. There is a soul to the land where we live too. The deity established in the land is called the land goddess. She is a great soul, as the soul in her is a part of the Paramatma. Similarly, the power of God established in the Himalayas is called Himavant. The daughter of Himavant is Himavati. If we recognize Yamadharma as the son of all knowing sun god, it implies the power of the god who judges living beings as per their good and evil deeds and punishes the sinners. All the living beings in the world obtain energy from the sun to perform their duties. The sun established in the sky and the gods residing in it are different. I had told you that Sripada Srivallabha will disappear at the age of 30. He will merge in the atoms and molecules in the billions of universes. He is all knowing. You may ask the question why he dissolves again. Even though he is all pervading, billions of universes are situated at some distance from the influence of his energy. In order to regularize the motions in these universes by the influence of his powers, he attracts the universes near him. In the entire universe, if any disastrous situation occurs as a result of various karmas, Sri Dattatreya incarnates. Magnet attracts iron. But if iron is rusted, the power of the magnet to attract reduces drastically. But when the rust is removed, when each molecule in the universe is attracted, when the universal results are wished to be given new directions, then such incarnations occur. Description of the Panchakanyas. Then I said, Swami, it is said, Ahilya, Draupadi, Sita, Tara, Mandodarastata, Panchakanyam Pate Nityam Mahabhatakanashanam. I don't understand this subject easily. Therefore, I request you to describe this. On this, Tirumaladas said, Indra was attracted to Ahilya and he used the power of Maya to get her. He cried, taking the form of a hen. Thinking that it was dawn, the sage Gautam got up and went for his prayers. Since Ahilya was greatly devoted to her husband, Indra could never have touched her. Since the god Indra possessed powers, he created an illusory Ahilya and had an intercourse with her. Due to strong desire of Indra, the particles of the illusory Ahilya had been created. Gautam saw Indra and the illusory Ahilya during their intercourse, and becoming angry, he cursed both of them. Ahilya said, O great sage, what have you done? Spiritually, Ahilya was superior to Gautam. Due to Ahilya's curse, the sage Gautam became a lunatic for 12 years and after that recovered by the worship of Shiva. Ahilya's mind became inert, hence her body too became inert and converted to a stone. By the touch of Lord Sri Ram, the curse of Ahilya was removed. Therefore, realize that Ahilya is very sacred. The cursed Indra was born as the five Pandavas. Even though there were five forms, five minds, the supporting soul was one. This is a strange subject. In the pot of sacrifice, Shachi Devi appeared in the form of Draupadi. She is not born of the womb. The fire god hid the real Sita In his womb, Ravan took the illusory Sita to Lanka. After entering fire, the illusory Sita disappeared and the real Sita emerged. Therefore, realize that Sita is very sacred. There are 27 nakshatras in the 12 zodiac signs in the earth's time wheel. The presiding deity of these 27 nakshatras was born as Tara Devi. When she was in full bloom of her youth, the presiding deity of the planet Jupiter, Brihaspati, fell for her and married her. The old husband cannot satisfy a young maiden. This subject is not according to Dharma. Therefore, even if the vow taken at the time of the marriage is not adhered to, it is not a sin. Brihaspati could not evoke the feelings of he being her husband in Tara Devi's mind. It was Brihaspati's responsibility to arouse emotions for a husband in Tara Devi's mind. On the contrary, Brihaspati, the knower of all dharmas, acted opposite to dharma. The particles in Tara Devi's body transformed as per her mind. The moon's form was constant in her mind, and her heart was won by the moon. In this way, the transformed Tara Devi was different than the Tara Devi that had earlier married Brihaspati. Therefore, the mating of Tara Devi and the moon is not against Dharma. According to the law of nature, to move around the 27 nakshatras is the nature of the moon, not of the planet Jupiter. If the planet Jupiter does this, it is against Dharma. Any karma which is against Dharma fails. Therefore, the moon, getting the goddess of the 27 nakshatras, Tara Devi, only is right. Son, according to this subtlety of Dharma, Tara Devi is highly devoted to her husband. When Bhishmacharya was on the bed of arrows, he advised Yudhishthir. Bhima said, when a bad deed is being done, as far as possible, it should be prevented, or else that place should be vacated. On this, Draupadi laughed. On this, Bhishma said, when Draupadi was insulted, my behavior was wrong, because at that time I was under the protection of Duryodhan. By eating his food, my blood had become polluted and my intellect was corrupted. Now that the polluted blood is no longer in me, my intellect has become pure and knowledge has dawned upon me. In the evolution stage, a living being takes many lives. In some birds, he is a male, and in others, he is a female. Apart from human births, he also takes births of birds and animals. In previous birth, Mandodari had a male birth. In that life, she had three wives, one of a wavering nature, one of cruel nature, and one of soft nature. In this birth, the wife of the wavering nature became the monkey. Vali, the wife of the cruel nature, became the demon Ravan, and the soft nature wife was born as Bibhishan. At the end of Kalpa, when Mandodari had a male birth, these three were wives of Mandodari. So, in the next birth, she became a wife to the wavering Vali, and from this Angad was born. After that, she became the wife of the cruel Ravan. After the destruction of Ravan, she became the favorite queen of Bibhishan. So, when she was the wife of Vali, when she was the wife of Ravan, and when she was the wife of Bibhishan, the microparticles in her were different. Therefore, Mandodari is also greatly devoted to her husband. Then I said, Swami, it is said that a woman should have only one husband and a man should always have only one wife. Then is it not deplorable to have multiple wives or husbands? Effects of the Karma Chakra. Thirumal Das said, you are right. It is said that if a man unnecessarily troubles his wife, he becomes a young widower for 7 births. If a man marries 4 or 5 women, in the next birth, this man takes a female birth, and those 4 or 5 women, since their desires are not diminished, take a male birth and enjoy that woman. If this happens in the same birth, it leads to the sin of promiscuity. If many births are taken, and if in each birth she marries one man, it does not become a sin. All this is the influence of the Karma Chakra. If you take female birth, you should act according to the law of that birth. If you take male birth, you should act according to the law of that birth. Persons who create strife between husband and wife are not born as male or female in the next birth, but are born as impotent persons and are devoid of family life and hence experience sorrow. Eating meat is not allowed. If one person kills a lamb and devours its meat with 4 or 5 persons, that lamb gets pains while dying, and vibrations full of this pain are present in the atmosphere. Sun. There are joy filled and pain filled vibrations present in the atmosphere. Vibrations filled with happiness arise due to good deeds being done, and vibrations filled with pain arise due to sinful deeds being done. Since the killed lamb dies with a desire to take revenge on the 4 or 5 men who had killed and eaten him, the lamb takes birth as a man, and the 4 or 5 men who had eaten the meat take birth as lambs. Therefore, humans should be forgiving. The good man, even after seeing the lamb, does not wish to kill and eat its meat as revenge. If the lamb forgives the man who killed him in the earlier birth, the lamb will get the credit of saving one life and his karma chakra stops. The combined balance of the good deeds as well as the sins of the residents of Pitikapur matured for result at the same time and resulted in the birth of Shripad Srivallabha. The pious ones realized Sripada as Sri Datta Prabhu and became even more pious, whereas the sinners rejected Sripad as Sri Datta and became even more sinful. If the worshippers of Sri Datta criticize Sripada, they will obtain a hell like the Raurava. It is better to remain quiet if you do not know a subject, but it is not right to criticize that great divine form. People worshipping his face with auspicious prayers but driving nails in his feet will be troubled by sorrow and disease. Not only this, Sri Dattatreya has created an extraordinary yoga power by his grace. All the wishes of pious persons are fulfilled just by remembering his name without any effort. On the other hand, all kinds of obstacles and undesirable events fall upon the sinners who have criticized Sripada. Sripada has the form of fire. He has worn the garments of fire. It is the sacred yogic fire form, and to describe the glories of his padukas, even billions of years will not be enough. Even the Vedas and the Upanishads are incapable of describing his padukas. How many eras have gone by? How many times the cycles of generation, sustenance, and destruction have taken place? But Sri Datta is still Sri Datta. He is incomparable and is Sripada Srivallabha himself. Each particle in the nature is witness to this great truth. The re-establishment of Swayambhudatta. An Avaduta came to Pitikapur. He was a Siddha who had achieved perfection in yoga and used to always be in a frenzied state. His behavior was very strange. If he wanted to bless somebody, he would abuse him. Such was his strange nature. If he praised somebody, the person's credit of punya, good deeds, would reduce. The residents of Pitikapur asked the Siddha where Swayambhudatta was. Then the Siddha said that Sri Datta is taking bath in all sacred places and nowadays he is in a river. After the devotees tried very hard to search, the idol of Swayambhu Sri Datta was found in a river. At an auspicious time, that idol was re-established by the auspicious Sumati Maharani and Sri Appalaraja Sharma, who had divine brilliance. The initiator of this great event was Sri Papanarya. Appearance of Vidyaranya. On the day of the re-establishment of the idol in the temple, Bapanarya requested that Siddha to come to his house for alms. That Siddha saw Sripada in his grandfather's house. Seeing that child, who was only 2 years of age, feelings of parental affection arose in the Siddha's mind. Sripada, who was sitting on the shoulders of his maternal uncle, Sri Venkatappa, and was playing with his shikha, turned his side towards the Siddha and smiled. Seeing that smile, the Siddha went into a samadhi. After coming out of that samadhi, Sripada said, Madhava, as per your wish, Bukharai will establish a Hindu empire when I become 16 years of age. You should always be behind Harihara and Bukharai. You will be famous as the great sage Maharshi Vidyaranya. In the coming century, Govind Dikshit is going to be born in the family of your brother Shayanacharya. That Govind Dikshit will be none other than yourself. Becoming a Rajarshi, sage of the kings, you will become Prime Minister of the state of Tanjavur and feel very fulfilled and blessed. Hearing this, tears of joy started flowing from the Siddha's eyes. He drew Sripada near him. At the same time, Sripada bowed to the Siddha's feet. When the Siddha expressed surprise, Sripada said, You will become the head of the sacred place of Sringeri Pita by the name of Vidyaranya. In the lineage of your disciples, you yourself will become the third disciple. by the name of Krishna Saraswati. Since the feelings of parental affection for me were created in your mind, in my next incarnation in the name of Narsimha Saraswati, you will initiate me into the life of an ascetic as Krishna Saraswati at the sacred place of Kashi. You will reinstate the sannyasa dharma. Kashi Vishveshwara and Mother Annapurna will be a witness to this. Madhavacharya, born in the Parashar Gotra of the Pravar of Vashishta, Parashar Trayarshaya of the Rigvedi Shakha, performing the Vajpaya, will become famous as the Vidyaranya Maharshi, the great sage. Son, tomorrow I will tell you more stories. Saying so, Tirumal Das ended that day's discourses there itself. End of chapter 8. Victory to Sripada Srivallabha. Sripadarajam Sharanam Prapatti.